It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to jump on the gigantic, sharp, interactive board. Fujifilm, first 9 months, FY 2023. The numbers are in. The numbers look fantastic. Fujifilm never disappoints. They always produce operating profit. Just a well-run organization. Before I get into the presentation, though, I got to say happy birthday, Fujifilm. 90 years, January 20th, 1934. Congratulations. Fujifilm, you're doing some wonderful things with that company. And the fact that you can consistently produce operating profit is just a great thing. It's a great thing for your shareholders. It's a great thing for your employees. It's a great thing for your end users because you'll have the financial abilities to make sure you take care of those end users long term. Just congratulations. But every time I do the numbers for Fujifilm, I think to myself, why is it here in Americas that the analysts and journalists, when they're questioning the executives at Ricoh and they're questioning the executives at Konica Minolta, they don't ask them why Fuji outperforms them consistently? Why don't they ask them that question? Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that our industry's media and analysts really do a disservice when they just pander and they don't really highlight things that need to be highlighted. And it just seems to me that if the Konica Minolta executives were questioned as to why Fujifilm consistently beats the crap out of them around operating profit, and they really had to think about that answer and then give that answer into the marketplace, maybe they would be a better company. When I think about the Ricoh executives talking about how important print is one day and how it's not important the other day, and their messaging is just all over the place. But at the end of the day, maybe they need to be questioned, why is it that Fujifilm outperforms you financially? Quarter after quarter, year after year. Because I believe if those Ricoh and those Konica Minolta executives here in the United States were questioned that way, one thing is for sure, they'd have to be more prepared. They'd have to have more discipline. But here in America, it seems that the OEMs could do whatever they want to do. As long as they have a party these analysts could go to, they'll never get questioned about anything. And those days have to stop. Because our industry is consolidating, our industry is under pressure. And at the end of the day, we don't need more analysts copying and pasting the OEM's financial information from their website to theirs. It's just ridiculous. We have analysts out there that cannot do any kind of editorial on any of these OEMs, because if they do any editorial, it'd be really hard to do some editorial around Konica without calling them out for their inability to be profitable. And so they don't want to do it. But at the end of the day, they need to be doing it. And we need to highlight success stories like Fujifilm. We need to highlight success stories like we see with Kyocera and their financials. But then we need to question those folks that just can't produce. Why can't they produce? What's the issue? Both Konica Minolta and Ricoh, what are they doing? They're trying to get into this IT business. And I've shared Ricoh's numbers and the billions of dollars they're doing in businesses around services outside of print, but yet their operating profit is terrible. Konica Minolta, operating profit is terrible in comparison to that of Fujifilm. And the question is why? So let's go on the board and see what I put together here. You know, I found this quote by the president and CEO, Mr. Goto, and I just love it. Let me read it to you. I have focused on evolving and developing our business by seeing it with my own eyes, using my sense of smell and understanding the key aspects of our business based on the belief that the truth lies in the field. The truth lies in the field. I just love this. I just love it. You know, a long time ago I said executive leaderships should skip a month worth of executive meetings and go out in the field. And the experience from them being out in the field would probably change their executive meetings. It might even change some of their executive leadership. But the truth definitely lies in the field. I think that's a great quote. I want to add this to that. Don't walk around the truth towards fantasy. Don't walk around the truth towards fantasy. Let's look at their numbers. Top line revenue, $14.3 billion for the first 9 months. Operating income of 9.5%, $1.4 billion. Put the pen down, give a big clap. Happy birthday and congratulations. Let's dig a little bit deeper. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at all the divisions at Fujifilm, they just kill it. I mean, their imaging division, the camera division, 25% operating profit. Healthcare, 8.6% operating profit. The materials business group, 6.3% operating profit. Business innovation, that's where those friends of mine that sell supply and service print equipment live, right? 8.4%. Total, 9.5%. Even with eliminations of $173.7 million, they still come in at $1.4 billion operating profit on $14.3 billion in top-line revenue. This is a fantastic, wonderful job, and they need to be complimented on it. And more importantly, we need to question these other folks. Why can't they do this? We saw Canon's financials. They look fantastic. Kyocera's financials, they look fantastic. But yet Ricoh and Konica Minolta, these two big giant companies here in America, is always bragged about, can't produce operating profit. Well, let's just say this. They can't produce enough operating profit to be a remarkable organization. It's like they just barely get there. They just barely cross the finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that in the materials business unit, for our friends over at Fujifilm, is where they have the graphics communications business. They're big iron. So $1.6 billion worth of revenue. We also know that in the Fujifilm business unit, they have office solutions, they have business solutions, and those are in the business innovation business unit. But think about this. Office solutions, $2.6 billion in top-line revenue for the 9 months, and business solutions, $1.4 billion for the first 9 months. Business solutions is all that stuff around IT, all those services. It's not about MFPs or hardware. Office solutions are all the MFPs and hardware. But look at these numbers. Business solutions, $1.4 billion. Office solutions, $2.6 billion. But the operating profit for the business innovation unit for Fujifilm is 8.4%. 8.4%. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to do a couple of comparisons because I think it's important. You look at Konica Minolta and you go to their office business unit, $2.6 billion. That's the MFPs for Konica Minolta. Well, you look at the office solutions business for Fujifilm, it's $2.6 billion. Same top line revenue. But again, if you look at the operating profit over at Fujifilm for that whole group, office solutions and their business solutions, it's 8.4% compared to Konica Minolta over there at 4%. If you think about the IT services or those non-print related services being delivered through Konica Minolta, the revenue for the first 6 or 9 months is $442.1 million compared to Fujifilm, $1.4 billion. They're doing $1 billion more than Konica. How is that? Konica's been in this thing for a long, long time. They bought All Covered like 14 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, they should be held accountable to the perfection of Fujifilm. Both Ricoh and Konica should be held accountable. They shouldn't just get a free pass. The world should know, why is it you all can't produce, but yet Fujifilm can? Ladies and gentlemen, when I looked at the consolidated balance sheets, and at the end of the day, I mean, Fujifilm just spanks these two companies. There's a couple of things I want to point out. One of the things I don't like about the Fujifilm consolidated balance sheet is they have a pretty high goodwill. The goodwill portion of their assets is pretty high. It's 21% of their assets. But here's the reality. I think Fujifilm could have a pretty huge impairment charge if they decided to do it, and it wouldn't even affect them because they're so disciplined and organized. But when I think about the asset to equity ratio, Fujifilm, 65.34% asset to equity ratio. Only 34.7% of Fujifilm's assets are encumbered. 62% of Konica Minolta's are encumbered. And over there at Ricoh, it's 54.3% of their assets are encumbered. So Fujifilm is just a much better, more disciplined run company. And we should ask the question, why is that? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to wrap up today's episode with this. Pandering without any accountability and calling everyone a winner is a big problem in our industry because we're not holding people accountable to try to help them improve. Why is it that Fujifilm isn't always doing a bullshit press release? Because they don't have to fool everyone with stupid distractions. When was the last time you heard Fujifilm doing big press releases? Konica Ricoh does a press release like every other day. And at the end of the day, there's some other folks out there that are really good about these press releases. I said a long time ago, when you deliver constant press releases, aren't you really trying to distract the marketplace from the malfunction of your previous press release? Or the malfunction of your business in general? Let's just throw out some press releases and try to distract everybody. Look over here. Ladies and gentlemen, my last slide. Congratulations, Fujifilm, on a wonderful performance, and happy 90th birthday. And everybody watching me knows this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.